am going to do the unheard of. I am going to show you what my desk looks like. The reason I'm going to show you this is because my desk is what inspired this junk journal pocket that I created. We all have that messy desk that we don't show anybody, but I'm going to show you mine because this is how I came up with this. So anybody knows me knows I am a messy, messy crafter. Absolutely horrible. My husband comes down and he just shakes his head. But all these little bits here, pockets, I'm working on a couple journals, and all these bits, I've got bits over here and everything, helped me figure out I wanted to use up my bits, but I also wanted to make something different on my journal that I'm working on right now. So I created this pocket. I'm going to put a piece of paper there just to kind of distract you a little. There we go. So get you in frame here a little better. And there we go. Now you can see it a little better. So this is what I just created. It is literally pieces off my desk, buttons, and I don't know if you can see too well. Here's a little bit of cheesecloth, and then I just put a tag in there, and I thought this is perfect for a journal page. You know, take a plain page and jazz it up. So that's what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to do it. As you can see, I'm working on a signature here for a journal right now, and so I'm going to just jump in. This is kind of the picture that I wanted on here, this little fussy cutted piece. So I'm just going to ink that up just ever so slightly, give it a little bit of a aged look here. I'm also trying to be very conscious of my hands. I was on a couple of forums this week, and they were talking about jazz hands or wavy hands while you're doing the tutorials, and that got me thinking. I'm like, oh my, do I do that? And we're like, I don't know. So I had to go back and look. I'm like, not too bad. But the comments are kind of funny because I was thinking, yeah, we all kind of do it when we do these tutorials, but I am trying not to do it because some people say it makes them dizzy or distracts them. So I've got that, and over in my stash you can see I've got all kinds of bits in here, literally bits. But I think I'm going to use this one. I'm just going to ink it up as well. I find if you ink up all the bits, even if they're not quite going together, once you've aged them all together, they kind of seem to flow a little bit better. Granted, most of these pieces are from the last two journals I've done, and they have been all pretty similar in colorings. So because I'm wanting to make it a pocket, I'm going to try and do an L shape here with my main pieces. I think I'm just going to tear, that off and ink it as well. So that I kind of have this as my base, is how I planned it last time. But I don't want it to be an L. I want it to look like something else. So, I got another piece here of a different color. So once I got my basic L shape outlined, I looked for something to fill in there, because obviously I want to put this in here, but I want it to have a little bit of background color. So I'm just going to rummage through my desk here, and I thought I had a piece of a coffee filter. I'm not exactly sure what I used the coffee filter for, but I'm just going to tear it up. I'm going to layer it on here. I'm just trying to build a little bit of depth in there. I have some sheet music. Where did I put my sheet music? This really is a messy desk. I think I may have to clean it up. There. So I've got a piece of sheet music. Sticking out. I'm going to put the coffee filter just kind of tucked in there because I'm kind of building a fan idea now for the pocket. So you can see once I put that there, kind of unifies a bit. But I do want something a little bigger in there. I've got to no, that's too angly. What else have I got in here? Ooh. I have a piece of coffee dyed paper. I can just, that'll do her. There, and it's because it's uneven. And then throw the brown paper. And I don't want everything to kind of line up. I want it to mesh a little better. Because then when I put this out, I just want pieces peeking out from it. I'm not sure. I don't think I like the coffee filter after all. Little piece there. I know what this needs. What have I got? I've got a little tag here. Ink that and see. Got a little, I don't know, I should call them tab here. I'm just going to ink it up and see if that will work in there, because that brings in the same color as the strip that's down here if I attach it. Let's see, is that focusing? A little bit. Okay, I think, oh, I got just going to tear this off, this piece. So you just want to kind of play with your layers, layer them all up, and this is a great time because you're using up all the pieces on your desk, but you're going to make them all work together. So I'm just going to slide. That's better. Give that a little bit more depth there. Okay, so now I'm just going to take a little bit of two-sided tape to just hold a few key items down, like this tab I want here. Because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and I'm going to stitch this down with a zigzag, because that also kind of gives it that patchwork quilt look. So then it does help unify it as well. So I'm just putting a few pieces of tape so that it doesn't shift between here and my sewing machine, so that I can get it there in reasonably one piece. Okay, so then I'm going to pause this. I'm going to go to my sewing machine. I'm going to stitch this up, and then I'm going to come back and we'll work on the next part. Alright, so I stitched this together. So what I did is I took this piece, as you can see here, I stitched the tab on, and this one here, I stitched just down this part and across here. Nothing super fancy, but just enough to go there, and you can see it's starting to create my pocket. So then I'm just going to slide this in here, and I'm just going to mark it so that I know that I'm going to put some two-sided tape on here so that it will adhere to the underside, because I don't want to stitch there and make that pocket any smaller than it needs to be, because I do want to put an envelope or something in there, or maybe a couple of tags. So I'm just going to run a piece of two-sided tape down here. Oops, I guess I didn't need to make that so dark. I'll just lighten that right up. Anyways, so I'm just going to take my two-sided tape and I'm just going to slide this right in there so that the tape's covered, and I'm just going to burnish that. So now I have my pocket there. And I've left my little tails, of course, because I like my tails. So we're going to get this on, but I also want this a little bit of definition here. So I have a bunch of pieces of cheesecloth over here. I'm just going to snippy cut a piece. And when I use like cheesecloth, I like to kind of just fray the edges to give it a little bit more weathered look so it doesn't seem so crisp. And I kind of want to layer it so it's peeking out kind of from behind here. And I think I'm going to do another smaller piece on, just pull this apart, get it all ready from here. There, I know, see if it can focus. The cheesecloth is so hard to see. But I think that's good. So because I'm using the cheesecloth on there, I don't like to use two-sided tape to hold it for long. I find it just might move and stick around. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac, and I'm just going to glue. I'm going to be conscious of the fact that this part of the flower is sticking up over the pocket, so I'm not going to glue all the way to the top, but enough to secure the cheesecloth and any of the flaps that might be moving out. So I'm just going to kind of layer that on there. Sorry, put my cap back on my glue before I forget. And I'm just going to burnish it down so that the glue has a good take on the cheesecloth and the paper bits underneath. Okay, and of course, I don't know about you, but I've always got, digging through my stash here, I've got little words always kept around. But I think I'm going to use this one over here. I've literally lost my scissors in this mess. Yeah, it's probably time for me to clean my desk. So I'm going to use this one, I think. Got a random sheet here of words some have been cut out. So I'm thinking that one will be good. And you can see I've just cut the corners, and I'm not very straight. Just kind of, see there, I've cut the corners and all that. Made it look a little ragged. I'm just going to ink it up. And I want these words to be raised a little as well. So I'm just looking on my desk. I always have little pieces of cloth. So I'm just going to, for a temporary fix here, I'm going to just take a little piece of two-sided tape on the back of my words, and I'm going to stick it down on this little strip of cloth, and I can figure out how far I want it to go. I think I want it to tail out here, so I'm just going to snip it, tear it off, loosen off a few ends so it's frayed a bit. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I will glue this down now, because the glue will seep through the fabric onto the paper that is temporarily glued with the two-sided tape, but this will make it more permanent and sturdy. So I'm just going to position that on there. And this is truly just using whatever stuff is on my desk. I mean, we've all got these pieces. You hang on to them because you know you're going to use them. Well, that's what this is for. Just to make a cute pocket with what's on your desk. Okay, so I have, just looking, I have a little button. I'm not sure what else have I got over here in my stash. Got a word tile, but I don't think that's going to work. Little mini clothespin. No, I think I'm going to glue that button on. I'm just trying to see if I've got any other little bits on this overflowing desk. Yeah, I think I'm going to just glue that button on. Just glue it on and press it down and hold it in place for a minute. There. Perfect. So I used up not a lot of bits, but I used a few bits. But you can see now I've got pocket. I'm just going to put this little envelope I've got in there. You can't really see it, but then I've got, actually, that's what I'll do. I'll put this, the tag I started making. Haven't put anything in it yet, but just a tag with a pocket, and actually that coloring goes pretty well in there. I've got two of them, I could put two in there, and the pocket's still pretty good. I think I'm just going to put one though, because I'll put something inside that pocket. But there you go. It's just using bits off your desk and just layer it up. You could do this with an upper pocket or an outer pocket, but I just thought it's a fun way to use up all those little pieces that we just can't throw out because we know we're going to use them somewhere. Well, this is somewhere. Anyways, thanks for checking me out today. Please make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see what I'm creating next. I'm trying to keep these short, so just little bits so you can maybe be inspired. If you have any comments, please comment below. I'd love to see what your views are. And thank you to all my new subbies that joined me this week. I'm happy to have some more people. Thanks again, and I will see you soon.